Okay, and we are live. Welcome everybody back to Quality Advocates. I know there's some new faces here, some old faces as well. First recording back after a break over summer. So delighted to be back with a really interesting talk with Ali. We'll get straight into it. There will be questions at the end if you want to ask questions. But for now, I will pass the power over to Ali. So over to you.
Thank you very much, Marco. Let me share my screen. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Yes,
Yep. I'm not going to use presentation mode because I need to see people and try to admit them at the same time. Sorry. Marco, how can I?
What do you need?
Oh, chat, sorry. If people come, so I think it's going to pop up, isn't it?
I don't think it should.
Is it?
We can't see any chat or anything at the moment, so we can only see the presentation at the moment.
Okay, because I can't see when people pop. Okay. All right, I'm gonna start. And have you got control, Marco?
I haven't got control now.
Oh, that's not good. We've got 25 participants currently, and seems like there is no people waiting as far as I see from here.
That's fine. We can check back in and if there needs to be.
All right. Yeah. Hello, guys. This is Ali. I'm going to talk about software testing challenges on AI-based healthcare domains today. I'm going to talk a bit about myself. I am a software test lead in Oxford Health NHS Foundation Trust. I had a mixed background. I got a background in healthcare, and then on IT, I've done a master and PhD in healthcare, and done a postdoc on medicine in Oxford University, and currently doing a master on Translational Health in Oxford University. And my areas of research interest and technical interest in AI-based healthcare tools, and how can we test them, and how can we find some answer for our questions in healthcare. Today, I'm going to talk about a bit backgrounds on AI, machine learning, deep learning, and then I'm going to focus on a bit about numbers around NHS and numbers around AI, machine learning in NHS and broader healthcare. And then later on, I'm going to more focus on software testing in AI and machine learning domains. Then I'm going to focus on how can we use that approach on healthcare. And then I'm going to conclude my presentation with what kind of skills and workforce we need for AI-based testing in healthcare. Basically, this is a good image for us to understand what is AI, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and deep learning. If you are a person like me who got more photographical intelligence rather than writing and stuff like that, this is a good example for us to understand what is AI. AI is basically a scalp on here, and then we've got machine learning, which is your brain, let's say, and then we've got a deep learning, which is cortex, limbic system, or hippocampus, whatever you call it, or neurons in anatomical terminology, let's say. Basically, this is a kind of hierarchical order. What AI try to do, I think, is try to mimic human behaviors, human intelligence, and with that, I think we've come up with these kind of shapes. On artificial intelligence, a technique which embeds machines to mimic human behaviors. which means that when you compare this to the normal human learning, when the babies try to learn, they are quite interact with their environment and they got data from their environment, they process that, and then they learn, oh, this is cold, this is hot, this is a stone, this is a toy, whatever they call. They use same techniques, same basic learning models into the artificial intelligence, which is basically we've got some data, we process this data, we clean the data, we use some algorithm, and then we come up some decisions, or we come up some kind of result with that data. I think it is as my clinical background, I work with children with autism, children with developmental delay, as a speech and language therapist and a special needs expert. And while I was working with the kids, I learned that like their learning models quite, if you give right methods with the right tools, they learn quite quick. Same as on artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence as a whole, I think it's more currently on baby stage. It's growing very fast as babies learn quite fast as well. If you give right data, you can really train your algorithms very quick, and then they can learn quite quick as well. Machine learning is if you compare artificial intelligence as a human intelligence, machine learning is more about your neurological activities. Let's say, for example, if you use your left side of the brain, you are more a techie, more engineering person. If you use your right side of your brain, you are more artist and art person in terms of neurological perspective. And this is a machine learning give basically us, we've got some data, and then we need to use that data, train some algorithm, and try to be more intelligent in terms of technical intelligent background. Deep learning, basically, if we compare this to the normal human learning system, it is our neurons. Neurons means your brain cells. They communicate with each other via using some electrical signals. And on deep learning, we've got some neural networks, which means that data communicate with each other and then try to learn about each other to come up with a kind of learning process. These are three main, I think, categories in AI. And then we've got some of the places which AI used in healthcare. And obviously we've got speech, text-to-speech programs, like there are some different healthcare tools on the market which you can talk to the software itself, and then it get your speech and then translate that to the text, and then use natural learning process, and then or NLP, and try to analysis that, and then get a kind of decision support to you. Let's say that, for example, you talk to machine and say that I've got some headaches and I've got these issues from my shoulders, blah, blah, blah. And then machine gives you an answer saying that you need to see a neurologist, you need to see a cardiologist. There are some healthcare tools on the market which vastly use speech recognition technologies. And there are some other tools using visions or natural language processing. Natural language processing mainly use, I think, basically used on mental health sector as well, because on the clinics and services, doctors and professionals use clinical notes to record patients' daily activities. And then most of the algorithm we see on the market, they try to use some of that patient data, written data, and then try to analyze them with different techniques like thematic analysis or other kinds of methods. Obviously, we've got some robots and others as well, which are widely used on AI sector. If I pass to the a bit background, I think interestingly, AI-based methodology and literature is quite widely reported by the healthcare and medicines. I think healthcare and medicines quite a good example for using AIs. We're going to see in the numbers as well on the further slides. After the marketing, I think healthcare is one of the big sector which is using AI vastly. I've got some really interesting charts, which is quite interesting. Do people know where AI is used? It is quite interesting because as you can see, the numbers quite near, like general population knowledge on drones and tech people's knowledge on drones quite similar, as you can see. We need to improve ourselves in some places, but it's quite nice to see this different chart, what people, general population understand from AI. Sorry guys, I need to check. I think there are some people try to join, or how can I? Oh, sorry. There are three people waiting to admit or to, oh, admit all. 20 people waiting for, sorry. Okay, I think it's done. And I've got another numbers, another graph, which is a forecast growing of artificial intelligence and software market worldwide. This is a research done by Steta, I think, before COVID. And then as you can see, the numbers is getting down a bit in terms of using AI on software market. But I think after COVID, this has changed dramatically. I haven't got more updated data, but I'm gonna show you how this changed after COVID. On the other hand, we've got technology and telecommunication side, like leading 10 areas retailers are using artificial intelligence in their business in the United Kingdom in 2019. This is like quite before COVID as well. As we can see, like data analytics, e-commerce, or customer services, mainly like these top three are on business and marketing side. People vastly use it. If you can see, like either till finance, I think you got a nice 5-6 bars just related to business and management vastly, which is quite interesting to see. When we come to the next graph, I think we've got artificial intelligence on healthcare market worldwide between 2014 to 21. As you can see, the numbers is growing, and in 2021, it's jumped like 5% nearly 2021. And this is a COVID effect, basically. The healthcare market, people try to use different kind of solution, AI solution or machine learning solution for their product. Let me add a couple of other waiting people, sorry. And this is another interesting graph, I think, from United States. AI in healthcare market size between 2016 and 2028. We've got software solutions, this part. We've got hardware solutions on here, and then services. As you can see, I think services part is gonna grow more, and then hardware probably stable, and then software solution growing as well, which is quite interesting to see. I think service side, especially after COVID, this blue side is gonna get more bigger and bigger, and then we need more testers input in terms of testing this kind of AI-based products. If we can divide this into the a pie chart, by 2020, a global healthcare market share, you know, the big pie for robotic assist surgery. I think surgical in literature as well, surgery quite a big. They got a quite big pie on the market, and then we've got clinical trials, which they basically use AI try to predict some of the results. As we can see, these numbers in terms of you know, money and finance between 2014 to 2021, as you can see, in 2014 we've got 663, and then we've got 6,062 on 2021, which means that 16,000 is higher, 6,000 higher than 2014. This is like, it's, you know, triple or more than triple, which is quite an interesting numbers. Let me check some, if any people waiting. Sorry, guys. This is the product, like in like last 10 years. Generally, AI used on medical products, more hardware-based product. Currently, it's more wearable or big data health analytics devices using AI, and on the next generation, we're going to see more robotics AI and augmented reality or VRs as well. Literature, most of the literature, I think, focusing on in healthcare literature, most of them we've got on radiography, cancer, and long-term conditions. If we check on PubMed is a famous platform for the healthcare publications. And as you can see over here, we've got pathology, around 4,000, nearly 4,000, 3,398 publication related to AI and machine learning. On radiology, as you can see, around 3,000 again, around 2,000 we've got surgery. On psychiatry, we've got 1,531, which is quite good. On oncology, neurology, cardiology. These are the big, the literature mentioned the AI-based approach. As we can see on the chart as well, I think after 2015, it's like dramatically getting up and up. I think after here, this is from 2021, 2020, I think, but after COVID, this is, I think, rocket up probably. We're going to see more research try to predict more long-term conditions as well. What happened after COVID? I'm going to touch a bit on that. These are our COVID numbers till September 2021. As you can see, we've got two big peak, and one in January 2020, January, February on this period. And then as you can see, we've got some on July, June, July, August period, and then it's getting up and up. It's going to get up probably more. And then this basically pushed the NHS and healthcare providers to do more remote and use more technology to provide services to their clients. This is a quite new research. I think you can see the research paper over here. What they've done, they've tried to check how COVID changed the healthcare professionals and patient behaviors using technology. As you can see, the big bubbles like computer visions, smartphone apps, security, privacy technologies, or SMS, like widely used for with NHS when the first wave is come, or lots of visualization tools and stuff like that used by different healthcare provider and services. On, I think, March 2020, there is a guidance issued by primary care providers. It states that like GPs, primary care is like mainly first stage of the care. Let's say GPs have to do their appointments remotely or online to reduce infection of COVID-19. And there is a research after that to try to understand the user behaviors on using different tools to get the services. And as you can see, having a phone consultation with the doctors and nurse, 73%, booking an appointment by the phone, 49%, is getting more upper and upper. Let me check if anyone waiting on waiting list. And yeah, now I'm gonna focus on more how software testing help fighting COVID-19. Is I'm gonna do a talk on National Testing Conference next week about that as well in British Museum, which is gonna focus on more how AI-based approach, how testing help us to fight with COVID-19s, as we test lots of different apps and forms related to COVID-19s, and there was a very challenging approach there. In our case today, I think AI-based tools got great potential to improve healthcare outcomes, but testing of them, it's quite challenging, as because need to be patient-centered. You need to take an account of patient safety and safe practice for the professional as well. If I pass to the evaluation of testing, I got this from Tansi 2019. This is a really good pictures. I don't know where Tansi got it, but this is a really nice picture to show evaluation of testing. And currently, I think we are most of the companies on the market, especially related to healthcare, over either here or here, but feature over there. And then most of the clinical systems, hospital management tools, bed management tools, and medication management tools, they are using AI, and we are using either this approach or this approach and try to test this. And then that's why our results are not great. And I think there is not much literature around here to understand more and try to create an if kind of tester branch or testing perspective to do more intelligent testing and to test machine learning and AI-based products. Before I jump to other, I'm gonna just check again, guys, sorry. I think this is another topic. I think it's not related to this presentation, but I just put over here. There are some software testing tools which are using AI as well to test, you do your test. I'm not going to touch them, but there are very good AI-based software testing tools which you can use to test some of the product. And there are some more powerful tools which are currently developed by different kind of providers and companies, which might have a potential to use in the future to test more AI-based products. I'm going to touch a bit on machine learning lifecycle. It's same as software development lifecycle. It's methodologically it's quite different, but as you can see, we've got same approach, like define a project objectives. This is equal to the requirement gathering on software development lifecycle. You need to understand what is business problem is and what kind of tools and category you needed to prioritize. And for the second, we've got accurate and explore data. This is basically design stage of the SDLC. As you can see, we've got find appropriate data, merge data into the single tables, conduct exploratory data analysis, and so on. If you see data, you can compare this to the code on software development lifecycle. It's equal to code on software development lifecycle. That's why I think we need a more broader approach to create a framework for testers to do more machine learning product testing, let's say. On the third stage, we've got model data, which is equal with the development stage, you can say, or testing stage as well. On this stage, variable selections, build candidate models, and model validation and selections. Basically, you get your data, you clean your data, you do some kind of different models on it, and then you test it and try to understand how that works. And then the fourth stage is interpret and communicate. This is basically try to understand your algorithms and models interpretation model and how they are communicate with each other. This is a stage when you do your normal database or software testing on SDLC, let's say, and implement, document, and maintenance. This is basically deployment or maintenance part of the SDLC, as you can see. I think it's quite nice fit with SDLC, but testers and other professionals need to have broader understanding of this machine learning lifecycle, and then testing stage need to be started as early as possible. As on SDLC, we need to start the testing on define a project objectives, but we need to got that knowledge before, like in this stage, let's say on SDLC, we've got business analysts who got the specification, and then you do some static testing on the documents. On here, there can be some static testing. I haven't seen on the literature. There would be some static testing on the data and which data you're gonna prioritize. What's your criteria? There definitely need to be testing approach on as early as possible to ask right question to help data scientists and ML and AI engineers to understand more about data, and then to test as well, because testing perspective quite important, I think, on that stage. This is quite a complicated architect from AWS, but the reason I put this on this slide, I think we can check data preparation stage, training, deployment, monitor, and inference. This is basically like every stage got their own testing cycle in it. And also you've got your testing, proper testing model over training and tune, and deployment, and after deployment maintenance as well. In healthcare product, this architect a bit more complicated, because sometimes you need to use real-time data, and then labeling and using different models on there, sometimes challenging. But as I mentioned before, I think testing need to start it as early as possible, either from this stage to this stage, end to end. Let me check if we've got any people waiting over there. Seems like no. Software testing of AI and ML, I think I've touched some of them, and the main things I think on the standard literature, which I really keen on to see, is we need to evaluate this architect model over here to put testing approach on the first stage of the data cleaning, data collection stage to maintenance part. This is quite an important journey. It's going to be an important journey for everyone and testers as well, especially in AI and healthcare domains. It's a very important process. These slides, I think, more focusing on what kind of testing models which we can use on different kind of AI-based smart application. But I'm going to show you a kind of pictures which is equal with the SDLC in a different way. We've got configuration over here, like requirements, and then we've collected some data, and then featured some extraction from data, clean the data, prepare the data, and then we verified our data. We write some ML code related to certain products, let's say, and then we use some different tools in terms of analysis or process management or machine resource management, which are all different. And then mainly maintenance and monitoring on the last part, which is quite a kind of life cycle over there as well. We've got, I think, Ur, your speaker. Okay. we've got data verification, data set paradigms, and eliminate data biases. This is a very important part for ML and AI professionals. The most important things which I've put yellow in here is data is the new code for AI-based solutions. This is a quite important statement, I think. If we put data into the, if we change code to the data, which means that our coders, developers would be that data scientist from the AI-based model. And then that's why as a tester, we need to know what developers do with their code on SDLC process. And then sometimes we do some unit testing over there to the code. And then we need to do same process for the data science part as well, try to test the data itself and maybe try to do some unit test over there as well to understand data more. I think this is the first step, and this is need to be defined very clearly when we start different project. This is a nice slide, I think, coming from Numbire and Dewey 2021. I really like this picture, which we've got algorithm testing, smart iteration testing, real life testing, and data creation and creation testing. These are the basically, I think, mainly we use all this for on healthcare domains. But as you can see, you can use this testing model on robotics, on drones, and some of the real life experience as well, or data creation steps as well on here. I think I've got a couple of minutes. I need to finish the presentation. I've got some data related slides as well, guys. I'm not gonna touch all of them, but I'm gonna definitely share my slides with you. Basically on this process, I think one of the challenging in AI and machine learning to prepare testing data and data set. If you haven't got that much experience on working with different databases and data, cleaning data, and closely working with data scientists, it's going to be a bit hard process for testers. Obviously, you need to fight with the bias data, and try to use different models on there. There are some different kinds of bias as well, which is quite important for data science perspective, and for testing perspective, it's quite important as well. If you are just focusing on that side, our testing result would not be which we want. There are some black box, grey box, and white box techniques on ML and AI as well. I'm gonna just touch lightly to them, but you're gonna get more info from here. Basically, as on SDLC, when we do our black box test, we've got some internal, we don't know what's going on in internal, but in same as in here, we don't know what's going on database wise, data wise, but we can still do some of the testing on there. If I show you this approach, this is called sanction approach to the black box testing. I think it is quite, I get this from Rakesh 2029. And basically what Saxon's approach is, try to modelize how can we do black box testing on an ML and AI based products. We've got model performance, dual coding, metaformic testing, and coverage grizzling. I think all of them got quite same model on the software development lifecycle as well. You can see this model performance approach on some of the non-functional tests, and dual coding approach you can see on triangulation model or other data test models. But basically architect quite similar. We've got some different functional and non-functional tests under it, which I'm gonna just touch them. Like we've got model performance testing, metaformic testing, dual coding algorithms testing, and coverage guide fuzzling. I'm not gonna explain all of them, guys, but you can get that information over here. And we've got model back testing and non-functional requirement testing as well, which is we've used same model on software development lifecycle. Like you can do performance testing on data, you can do security tests on data. There are some AI-based tools which you can use to test some of your data as well. There are which either data scientists or AI professions, they use it. When we come to the AI-based approach in healthcare domains, the differences in healthcare domains is, as we all of us aware, that if you do any mistake, it's going to affect people and patients' life or professions' life. That's why it needs to be safe. Safety is a very big concern, and there are lots of discussion around ethics as well. Let's say, for example, you develop an algorithm which is give doctors decision support or give decisions on diagnosis, and then doctors give a wrong medication because of the because of your algorithms not do its work properly. And then sometimes this has caused some of the issues around people's life. And that's why it's quite important for testers to ensure that quality, reliability, performance, safety, efficiency in healthcare application as well. And as we all know, healthcare domains quite vastly use AI and machine learning, and especially for EPMA, like electronic medication systems, or clinical notes, some of the or bed management, hospital management softwares. Most of them got their decision supports or got some kind of algorithm on background, and that all need to be tested. Currently, most of them tested by the either data scientists or ML AI engineers. It seems like developers do their testing to their code, which they might have a bias on their code. That's why it's quite important to improve testers' workforce and their understanding of AI and ML. It's really important, and to try to create a framework for that as well. I think DevOps, they do quite a good approach now. You can see on the market lots of MLOps, which means that like machine learning people who are dealing with DevOps on about the microservice or about architect, back architect. I think for the tester, I think we need a kind of ML or AI testers as well, which they've got specific understanding and knowledge on AI-based tools. For the specific of the healthcare domains for testers, I think manual approach currently vastly used by the clinics nowadays, but there would be definitely more intelligent approach in the future. And then we need more testers who can understand the technical side of the data part or AI part, who can have a bit experience on clinical side and then testing side as well. This is a kind of either need to be collaborative approach, or you need to have a broader understanding of the algorithms and decision supports. If this algorithm gives this result, how that's affect the patient, how that's affect the professions itself. It is a long process, I think, but definitely market needs to improve that. We need to work on it. There are not much enough literature which we can go and visit and check how testing can be involved on AI and machine learning in healthcare domains. Another challenge testers face while they are testing AI-based healthcare systems is amount of data requirements. You need to create, you need to do a massive preparation to test your data, to test your algorithm, which is in our current software development lifecycle is not really. You do some kind of preparation for your testing, but this is more needs more preparation and more collaboration with data scientists and AI professionals. Which means that opens a gate to another challenge for testers to get more skills on architect, data science, and more complex level of how can tester be part of that complex network, let's say. There are really good testing outcomes as well, but I think the main bias on the market, on the literature which I saw, is mainly most of the products on healthcare, if it involves any AI on ML, generally ML or AI part tested by their creators, which is going to be a bias, and then most of the testing approach need to be done on the requirement gathering stage, or let's say on the data cleaning, on data collection stage to the endpoint, which is quite important. I think we've got 2 minutes to finish. Which skills and approach needed to test AI-based healthcare domains? Basically, we need to know algorithm, how algorithm work. We need to know data, we need to know architect, and we need to know collaboration and communication to communicate with the different healthcare professionals and different IT professions, or let's say IA professionals, or whatever you called. In most of the NHS structure, they called IMNT professionals, like, and these are essential skills for a tester to test, to do more quality testing on healthcare domains. I think we've touched some of this agile approach, and I think on conclusion, AI-based healthcare products will take growth day by day. And as tester, we need to be ready to test one of the most complex algorithm and logics, potentially saving life and protect the people to get harm. I think I'm done. Have you guys got questions? Let me close this.
Good stuff. Thanks very much for that, Ali. If anybody has any questions, please do speak up now. As mentioned at the beginning, the recording will be posted onto our YouTube page in the next couple of days. So if there's anything that you wanted to go over, please feel free to. But any questions, please do speak up now, or pop it into the chat.
Hi, Ali. It's Matt Doreen here. Just a quick question for you.
Hi.
I'm just wondering, in your experience, what kind of the common techniques are you seeing testers deploying now on machine learning? You talked through a couple of them quickly, and obviously we didn't go into a lot of detail. But what are the techniques you're seeing, recently?
I think on our trust, we just recently started to test some of the AI-based tools like EPMA. It's called Electronic Prescription Medication Services. They got a decision support on the tool. Like, let's say, as a doctor, when you prescribe a medication for, let's say, for psychiatric disorder or autism or whatever, and then the system give you a kind of alert or stuff like that. You cannot give this medication 2 times a day or stuff like that, which is quite challenging because as a testers or as a test team and dev team, we need to know that we need to know a bit about the system itself, and then we need to know a bit about the product itself as well. And sometimes it's really challenging because you need to have a pharmacist with you together to understand if this is the actual result or expected result. The technique we are currently using is, in our trust, we try to use fully automated end-to-end system with codeless tools like some of the smart pairs products, which we are currently used for UI test, API test, and database test. We are not writing any codes because it's time consuming, and in our case, for some kind of algorithms, it's a bit hard to manage and monitoring that process. But I think for the future, in our case, for the future, I think what we are planning to do to use more intelligent testing tools like Perfect or whatever, I think Testim or whatever AI-based intelligent testing tools to try to automate process more intelligently, because mainly normally in healthcare domains, manual test is quite weighted than the automation test, as because of the clinical risk. But when it's getting more intelligent, I think we need to find a way to understand more how can we test real algorithm decision support systems and so on. Matthew.
Right. Okay. So just a quick follow-up question to that then.
Yeah.
From the sounds of it, is it the data scientists that are mainly checking the statistical properties and the inner workings of the algorithms, the analytics?
Yes, I think on this traditional model, yes, we've got data analysts and ML and AI engineers who are testing their algorithm and data. But this is like a kind of a developer testing their own code. Sometimes you are blind, you know. That's why this approach needs to be changed. Like we've got MLOps and we need to got some ML tester or AI tester, whatever you call it. And these people need to quite specialize on data, know the data, know the data process, and then know how can people test that process. Yeah.
Yeah, got it. Thanks. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see that evolution over the next few years.
Yeah, hopefully.
I would like to ask a question if someone is not asking. It was really good to see the graphs, the big change, sharp increase in number of researchers in machine learning. I'm not sure, could we say artificial intelligence also? So this big change, you prepared that data, and I just saw the picture now. You are just coming from front than me. According to this big changes, are you planning to rearrange or change or any amendments in your future or near future career plan?
I think this is a good question. In terms of our trust digital strategy, in next couple of 5 years, especially after COVID, like it's double up now. We need to get, we've got more research to develop some of the, testing stage. But if I talk more generally for whole NHS, I think definitely COVID dramatically change either user behaviors as a patient or professionals, and then and we need to take, and there are lots of AI-based approach and products coming to the service now. And I think just on the COVID pandemic process, I think NHS itself developed a couple of apps which they can track people's and try to stop infection. And then in the future, I think it's going to be more AI-based and ML-based approach and products we're going to use as a healthcare providers. And then there will be definitely needed for skills on technical skills on testing of this AI-based and ML-based tools. But current traditional model is not like enough to test properly. Properly to products, I think.
This is the good answers for the first part of my question, but second part also, sorry, it might be a little bit personal, but you are also an QA engineer, and as a person in your personal career, are you planning to make any change, or would you like to just a little bit go that side?
I mean, yeah, personally, yeah, I'm gonna have a kind of training next. It's gonna start on December. It's gonna take 4 months in Oxford University for AI-based MLOps training. Let's say it's broader than MLOps. You got Claude, we've got AI, deep learning, and different models, which I want to learn more a bit on that side and combine this knowledge with my testing and healthcare background to understand more clinical system, because either you have to collaborate with the other professionals. Sometimes it's you can't see a healthcare professionals at the same time, or you have to improve your knowledge. Yeah, personally, I've got a kind of course to improve my skills and knowledge on that area.
Okay, thank you very much. So we need to keep in touch to just take those updates also from you. Thank you very much. We really enjoyed, and yep, thank you.
Thank you for your question as well. Any other question, guys?
Hi, Ali. This is
Hello.
Hi. It was a good session.
Yeah.
Just sort of interest, what programming language and databases you are using?
In our trust, we are using Java, but we are not because mostly like we've just started to do our intelligent testing model for one of our projects called EPMA. It's a electronic prescription medication system. And then we don't need to write any codes, because we've got, for UI testing, we are using test completed. For API testing, we are using Ready API. For database testing, we are using Ready API. For cross-browser testing, we are using cross-browser testing tool. And for performance testing, we are using Load Ninja. These are all tools coming from SmartBear, and they got quite nice communication with each other. And then we are aiming to automate, end-to-end automate with these codeless tools, because we haven't got enough time to create a framework, write the codes, and then test the products. But our next stage, after a couple of years later, we're gonna do more intelligent testing process, I think. But yeah, Raj, I'm not quite sure if you got your answer, but yeah.
Yeah, thanks. And in terms of databases and cloud platform, what database and what cloud platform you're using?
I think in NHS, you've got for specific of EPMA, if you ask for electronic prescription medication system, we've got more than 7 databases, which you've got national NHS databases, you've got patient demographic information databases, you've got databases for medication, you've got databases for different medication from different hospitals. It's a very complicated process, but luckily we've got a kind of, they call it system integration engineer. It's like a kind of DevOps of the market, let's say. They are quite good in architecting and try to connect serve each other. But yeah, there are lots.
Is it like a SQL Server or a Oracle kind of database?
Oh yeah, I think most, as far as I remember, it depends on the trust, but our trust, we are using Azure. But it depends on the probably they use I'm not quite sure in terms of which provider they use it, but most of the NHS, they've got negotiation with the big companies like NHS Digital do them for that. And for SQL, for example, they've got different databases, got different kind of provider as well, like let's say Spine, I think from Oracle, as far as I remember. And for CI/CD and deployment, they use Microsoft Azure. And then for different databases, sometimes you've got MySQL. It's really depends which databases. Like let's say, for example, I'm gonna connect to the Oxford University Hospital databases. They've got different providers. And I need to connect with London Hospital. They've got different providers. It's all depends, whichever
varieties of databases. Okay.
Yeah, it is quite like very.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Ali. Thank you.
Thank you, Raj. Any other question, guys?
If we've got no other questions, forever speak your piece. Brilliant. Well, look, I'm sure everyone will join me in saying thank you very much to Ali for a really interesting talk. This will be recorded. It will be posted on our YouTube page in the next couple of days. I'll also post it on my LinkedIn. Please do make sure you join the Quality Advocates group on LinkedIn. I've got 3, maybe 4 more events that are in the pipeline before Christmas. So they'll be posted on there as soon as they've been confirmed. So please do join the group, and if you have any other questions on the talk or any other talks moving forward, please do get in touch with myself or Ali. We'll be more than happy to help. But in the meantime, thank you very much for coming, and have a great day, have a great week.
Thank you, Marco, for organizing this, and thank you guys for joining. Thanks.
Brilliant.